Amitabha Buddha salutes the people, the people. 6 people woke up today. The first idea is, do people remember the Buddha? People remember the Buddha, but do people have the heart to pray for the dead? Dear people, please allow the people to recite the Buddha and vow to unite with the whole mass. Adi-do Buddha. Adi-do Buddha, Adi-do Buddha. I asked the Buddha Amitabha, take me back to the West. Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha. Dear people, today they continue to be quoted in the pure education of the Master of Heaven as continue yesterday's work. It's also a short period. People will read to learn with the public. Master teaches, in life, if you are passionate about impermanence, use the true mind. It doesn't matter whether it's suffering or joy, for or against noise or silence, free or busy. It doesn't matter whether it's public or private. The guests are very annoying. Multifaceted response does not hinder his recitation of the Buddha. It's a phase of the great sage. As advice to our practitioners to recite the Buddha. What do you say, folks? He said if you really, we put birth and death first, and we see things in life if we're serious. Think about the impermanent people. The happiness of receiving, the luck of getting it, is to be in an environment that feeds all the old people. The public knows that in a week, maybe 10 old women will leave, calculated according to the B.A. ashram from the French Protection Temple. To recite his Buddha B.A. according to the number of 2,000 old people. Sometimes in a week, old people lose a lot of energy, maybe more than 10 people. As the German Spider-Man says, a year goes by, 15 goes by. I don't know how many coffins, Mr. B. I want to send you out. It's not the old men in there, folks. Most recently, a 23-year-old boy. But I've only seen you in recent months. You guys also sit around and talk jokes. Having fun while working is a lot of fun. They're very close. They get along, but don't go home sick. It's called hospitalization. I heard you had a brain hemorrhage or a stroke, and then we're done with brain surgery, and in the end it didn't work. Must be brought at the end and take it to the ward to withdraw the oxygen. The uncle said that. What is the luck of the people? In front of me are not old people. In front of me is not waiting for old people to die. Sir, whether old or young, it is impermanent when death comes to us. It didn't say you died today. The day you died, you're 80 years old, you're 100 years old. There's no such thing. It's what death is to us humans. It's at any age. We don't know that. How long can we live? We don't know that an accident is coming. An impermanence for us suddenly. We don't know that. So, here you say, if you're really afraid, we are often afraid of where we will go when we die. Once we think that death, I don't know where we're going. Where do we fall or where do we advance? In place every day, the idea of what we are. What is our cultivation? What is this in everyday life? So, you say yes? If a person with a sincere heart wishes to be sincere, have to think that impermanence does not wait for people. Once the impermanence comes, it doesn't differentiate between the old and the young. The king of hell never came. Where is the fifth guard? Sir, this place is very important. I hope everyone, I hope the whole public hears this. Let's think about it. Look for clarity. the one who thinks at night as long as he dies. It's not negative, it's positive upwarders. Here the giants often say, suppose as we prepare everything in this world, but the most excruciating human suffering, what is the time of death? As the Buddha said in the Fourfold News, mind in confusion, surrounding karma, make the spirit of his mind go wild, then the suffering comes to an end. But in the sutras, for example, it's a living turtle that's peeled off, a live cow that was skinned. Sir, he is a person who cooks. Every time it shoots oil in the hand, also burned a lot, and it hurt a lot. It is very painful to think that once, impermanent birth and death, the time of death is the last thought. It's where our minds go. We ask ourselves what our ideas are normally. What is our cultivation? What is this? What is this? It will decide when we go. That is not our recitation of the Buddha. You say you have to be honest about life and death. You have to be honest about life and death. People, you hear the stages of the great calendar masters, a person who doesn't use to honest words. It has to be honest. As the good monk Hugh also reminds Modern, you have to be honest. You really can't be fake. Because that's what it is. That's for you. He said to me, let me free you. Whether you are born or not is up to you. No one can know. Because we're sowing real people. Then there must be a truth to what it is, the wild fruit of the West ecstasy. And if we plant the false cause, surely it's a lie to us. It can't be real. So you say, in life, if the person who recites the Buddha is really about birth and death, you should know that the feet. This person who recites the Buddha must know earnestly. Think about impermanence. Impermanence here is not death coming to me. It's a disease. Life is suffering for us now. Earthquake, tsunami, volcano. House fire, especially the scenes in the last few days. Climate, dry weather and high winds. You see it burning everywhere. In that fierce situation, we are in that life. If we use our true minds to recite the Buddha, even though this body has Rosao, but our spirit will be followed. Afraid that at that time we were freaking out, we were afraid. We press. I told my mom to mess up my mind. It is not wise for us to lose our birthright. Loss of birth. Back to the people. Why does it say that the person who thinks of impermanence is a positive person, suppose as a human? Everything is prepared, and the final we know is suffering. We are prepared. We always think about it when we're sick. Impermanent to the next life. Then we'll be calmer, softer, more comfortable. We know that sooner or later it comes to us. This came to me sooner or later. We'll calm down gently, better than people who are not prepared. What will be passive? We'll be afraid, we'll panic, and we'll be frantic. What matters to us is the mind, the spirit. If we don't take the initiative, we're not proactive. It's called training your mind. Day of reciting Buddha, day of remembering Buddha, the day of training at that time. It's very dangerous for our minds. It's very dangerous for our minds. For the people of the world, they do not speak. For religious people, for people who recite the Buddha, then we know that the mind, the consciousness of death is extremely important. The last idea is extremely important. So here it says, they teach us. God says you have to think about impermanence. People who know impermanence are quick to be fearful. What is it? You have to use your true heart. It doesn't matter if it's suffering or pleasure, to be quiet or quiet. What you mean is that all in all circumstances. Once we know the importance of this title, once we know the importance of the concept, pray for this birth. It's as important as Master Kwang said, is that once you've liked AI, you've loved AI. or that there are people who are free from that heavy sexual desire, of all the officers standing and sitting. The opposite of the scene, I will remember that person in my head, like that person is in his head. Imagine that person. In the old life, what is a person with a strong desire for sex? Even if your feet work, whether busy or free, the mind thinks of all that shit. From that example, it is easy to understand. We've put a lot of weight on birth and death. We see the importance, because this Buddha effect is the fruit of the Buddha. Today we recite this name of Buddha. Is that we practice virtue? Recite this Buddha title. That we are cultivating the good. German grace for yourself. We. There are many people who say, in order to fully benefit the virtue of grace and grace, sir, where this Buddha title is true. How to think is true. Isn't unsuspecting thought, unexpected, or this Buddha title? Once the memory, this Buddha title out means that we have the blessings. Good luck of Germany from DDoS up. To do good deeds of our own grace. That's taking the cause. Get your fruit done. To sow the spiritual essence for yourself. By that, do any great thing in the world. No matter how much effort you put in, I really mean it. How can we afford it? To be able to turn those things around. Do those things? Full of goodness, grace, 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 to correspond to the ecstatic Western world, because the ecstatic Western world is the flower, is to collect the most exquisite flowers, the greatest enemy of all the Buddhas. With my ability, with my power, how to make this life I can fully nourish the blessings, God's grace to be in harmony with that world. But what are they? Rely on this Buddha title, because this Buddha title is full of fullness. It's not that we practice ourselves, we rely on ourselves, rely on the merit. German virtues from Lady Dido, that is our good Father. Our good Father. So if you listen through this process, you'll see even the great things in the world, or greatness in the world, if we give up mindfulness of Buddha, is that we've abandoned the source. Source. The good master said that the Buddha was always popular. The light of God is always looking for people. God is our God, our God. To truly recite this Buddha sign, the truth of the mind in this Buddha sign, the Maitreya Buddha always radiates blessing to spread us. What is the meaning? Synonymous 10 direction. The Buddha's blessings protect us. Why? Because we have fulfilled your will. What is it that goes with your wish? Buddha Dido always illuminates to find people who recite the Buddha. This is the good teacher teaches your testimony. But the good master, the people know who, is the incarnation of Buddha. Amitabha is the second ancestor of the Pure Land. We're here through this. So, back to the modern problem. We know the importance of the name Buddha. Only mindfulness Buddha is the source, is the root. So, that we are in harmony with the Maitreya vow. The Western world is ecstatic, and where this Buddha title can be truthfully recited throughout life, the path of accomplishment, our birth career, hold the part in your hand. Once born into the ecstasy of the Western world, is to leave suffering to be happy. Suffering is fun. So, today we're learning through this process. So know that reciting the Buddha is very important. The title of Buddha is very hostile. Can't think, can't talk. It doesn't matter whether it's suffering or joy, suffering or even fun. Just rely on the Dida vow. Take refuge in this Buddha title. Still reciting Buddha. Remember the Buddha is sure of the birth in wealth. With what? Just know they don't need to know whether it's suffering or pleasure, adversity or noise or silence, free or busy. He said to ignore the surroundings. For the receptionist, it's very annoying. It can't be prevented in many ways. His recitation of the Buddha. It knows impermanence for us, it's fast. Everything that comes to us, to be honest, I thought, Buddha will come to me tonight or I will die tonight. You can argue with it, argue with it. My head racked. Think of someone who is a little more noble than you say. Now my future is born in the world of ecstasy. Is up there? It's not that I'm selfish, it's what I am, to try to practice, to quickly become Buddha-level beings. About people who curse and scold themselves. They are also sentient beings. Maybe I cursed them back. Sad of them, they've made a career. Maybe I'm like them. I want to create more jobs. I just want to be born. Think about how to go down that path. Let go of your body and mind. Relax your body and mind. Remember like a ring. Think of yourself near death. Think about dying tonight. I swear to him, he became a murderer. Let's wash after. Let go, let go. What you can do, practice. Just say that you will suffer for a lifetime, or suffer the pain tonight. I will be born tonight, and I will come back to you. I want you to fuck me. Those who have given me adversity makes me excited about the land. I can see that my true face is suffering. Thank you. Thank you. If we thank them, we will thank them all. It's better to fight them than to lose them. Sir, but if you talk about it, can you do it? Absolutely nothing can be done. But why do they say? People are motivating themselves. People are reminding me. People often talk to the whole world. They are always companions. Is to share your learning with you? But they are not AI teachers. I want to talk about these stages to see the great vigilance. Give up. You can't do it, people. If you can't do it yet, you have to. Think of impermanence, it comes to us. Suddenly thinking of death with us, it's near. You need to fight more than lose. Then in every police officer who's busy with something, as much as you can remember the Buddha, try. Every single Buddha title comes up, is in agreement with the deed of our. Every single Buddha sign we raise is that it is fostering the virtue of AI. It's for ourselves. By ourselves. But why do we have to be lazy? In the world, what can I do? Money is there. I run very badly. Now the job. Recollection of our Buddha. Is that we force to the virtues of? Blessing the stuff for us. It's more than money. Money will one day destroy it. It will not exist. If we lose, we die. This can't be carried. But the merit of the reward can bring Theo. It depends on the karma. Every day we remember the Buddha. We recite the Buddha. We pray for birth. It's that we teach the human race to us. So, what is our fruit? Surely this life, to the ecstatic Western world. To the ecstatic Western world. So through today's process, God's grace teaches us, in life, if you are passionate, think about impermanence. Death to us suddenly. Accident for us suddenly. Illness for us suddenly. Be young and healthy and awake. You can recite the Buddha's name wisely. Try to recite a Buddha sign. Even though we know impermanence, it's time for us to then use your true mind to recite the Buddha. To truly recite the Buddha. People remember the word true. Don't pretend. Because of what it is. You're fake. You're not going to get the results. It's not the ecstasy of the West. Because you're not honest about birth and death, but it's true about birth and death. Then in every landscape, as the modern says, almost always looking at people, swearing at people. More envious than losing. Look at all the officers. They are willing to go to the West. It's all a means to build authority. About the West. In the eyes of the believer, everything is prayer. Your eyes are still heavy on me. Everything is a condition that prevents them from practicing in. What's important is that I have the angle at which I turn it. Turn the board over and we're done. We succeeded. I hope people hear today's episode. Try hard. Try hard. No matter the challenge, no matter the adversity. Whether it's loud or cold, free or busy, it's good to try to remember a sentence. Take some time in the busy. You can still recite the Buddha, born or not, whether you are a believer or not. Taste high or low, completely elaborate, deep or shallow. Remember the Buddha's nature in the shallow elaboration. And if we're honest, we build character, willing and believe that, no matter what, I have the heart to pray to God, is that I have complied with the Maitreya vow. It is my duty to lead sentient beings. I want to return to you with these two wishes. To connect with each other, sympathize with each other, and then correspond to each other. Surely in this life we are born. Western ecstasy and a deep recitation of the Buddha, more or less depending on the nature of the Buddha, depending on the circumstances, depending on everyone's condition. Don't be too heavy, don't get too attached, but don't be lazy. Lazy about remembering. The truth is real. The new person is lied to. There is a God on your head. They can see what the situation is. What is Amitabha Buddha? What's the point of the ecstasy? May the people pray to the Buddha. This one life, he soon returned to the Western world. Non tissue ad do Buddha.